You know, people will tell me sometimes, like, Adam, you're courageous, and I appreciate it. I'm not courageous, though. I'm surrounded by cowards. Donald Trump is a weak man pretending to be strong. Americans that were concerned about January 6th that still voted for Donald Trump because other issues, economics, inflation, whatever. All we can do as leaders, as media, is just tell the American people the truth. And it's on the American people to seek out true information and not be manipulated, abused by a weak, small man.
Picture this, a grown man, once the leader of the free world, throwing a fit like a toddler who just got his Xbox taken away. That's exactly what happened when Adam Kinzinger dared to criticize the Republican Party. Trump's reaction? A 24-hour Twitter tirade that had psychologists comparing him to a kid tossing spaghetti at the wall. But the real kicker, Jimmy Kimmel's response, let's just say it involves a giant baby bottle and a whole lot of Trump tears. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Oh yes, indeed. It would appear that the orange bear has been prodded by someone, and wow, what a mark that has left behind. It was Adam Kinzinger, a former Republican who now criticizes Trump, who made the decision to stir things up by criticizing his own party. To tell you the truth, it was not a pretty sight.
If he stands up and he talks about policy, he talks about issues, and talks about, you know, like basically gives a speech he's never given before. But again, I mean, even today, he put out a Truth Social that's like, you know, I forget what it was, attacking Joe Biden, of course, and all the January 6ers who are really just hostages. An insurrection against our Capitol that was violent, that attacked police officers, that attacked innocent people, and pretending like it never happened.
During his appearance on CNN, Kinzinger displayed a serious demeanor and disclosed a number of shocking facts regarding the Republican Party. They have allegedly gone off the rails and are no longer advocating for democracy, according to his assertions. How awful. It must be extremely painful for them, especially coming from one of their own employees. The situation is comparable to when your mother expresses that she is dissatisfied but not angry. You are aware that it is not good. It is likely that Trump is eating fast food and watching television while he is unwinding in his living room that is adorned with gold. At the moment that he is listening to Kinzinger's words, you can almost see the steam that is escaping from his ears. A tomato red face is given to him, which is the same color as his signature tie. His hands are shaking as he gets closer to the phone and reaches for it. You know, the person who is probably already experiencing the symptoms of withdrawal from Twitter at this point in time. Nevertheless, Kinzinger did not stop there. Additionally, he continued to insult people by saying things like the Republican Party has become a Trump-first party rather than a America-first party. What, you're going to attack Trump with his own catchphrase? That must be very painful. Even more, he asserted that there were some Republicans who were trying to out-Trump Trump. There was no reason for me to be exposed to a group of politicians who were wearing orange spray tans and bad toupees.
I'm a proud conservative. I always have been. As a proud conservative, I've always put democracy and our Constitution above all else. So while I certainly don't agree with President Biden on everything, and I never thought I'd be endorsing a Democrat for president, I know that he will always protect the very thing that makes America the best country in the world, our democracy. And it's because of my unwavering support for democracy that today, as a proud conservative, I'm endorsing Joe Biden for re-election. That this is a stark choice. This isn't just, you know, who do I agree with more on certain issues? I actually don't even really know where Donald Trump stands on many issues.
Almost as if you could hear Trump's thoughts going through his head. Which tweets were the source of the brewing storm? Is it a tweetacane that falls under the category of Category 5? Alternatively, is it just a smattering of nonsense? As a result of the suspense, we were killing ourselves. Then the event transpired. After Trump's tweetathon that lasted for 24 hours, even the most dramatic teenager would appear to have grown up. It was similar to a tantrum that a toddler would have in the candy section, but with more exclamation points and words that were misspelled. He went on a rant about how he is the best president in history. Yawn, I've heard that one before. Called Kinzinger names that would make a sailor blush, and somehow managed to bring up windmills. Wind turbines, to be sure. Nothing says I'm a stable genius this, more than shouting about wind power at random in the middle of a political tirade. But that's exactly what happened. Individuals, the rant that Trump has been venting on Twitter has just reached an absurd level of absurdity. Is it possible that you remember how peculiar we found his preoccupation with windmills? Hold on to your hairpieces because the Orange in Chief has just made the decision to pick a fight with, stairs. Have you heard that? Actually, you did hear it correctly. Stairs. A toddler's temper tantrum is comparable to this, with the exception that there are a great deal more misspellings and a great deal less charm.
I want, when I get out of here, to leave a country stronger than I came in. Donald Trump came in and basically has said, it's all about me.
I'm genuinely surprised how people close to Trump haven't talked about the odor. It's truly something to behold. Wear a mask if you can. And that's the Trump formula.
A little bit of a pungent odor, I would say, yeah. People were a little scared to talk about it, but it was obvious. Maybe it wasn't permanent or all the time, but it's there.
After our favorite Twitter addict went on a tweeting binge that lasted for 24 hours, even the most intoxicated teenager would be embarrassed. It's almost as if he put his thoughts into a blender, pressed the button that said puree, and then let the word salad spread like wildfire across the internet. And what a complete and utter mess it was, boy. Windmills are likely to be Trump's first target, a second time. What exactly happened to him, and what happened to those poor devices that used to catch the wind? Could it have been a windmill that took his girlfriend from high school? Was there a tenant at Trump Tower who stubbornly refused to pay their rent? Whatever the reason may be, these energy producers who are constantly on the move have become Trump's most formidable adversary. The experience of watching a man who believes that bronzer is a food group rather than a noble knight is comparable to watching Don Quixote. There is, however, more to come. Trump made the decision that stairs were a part of a larger conspiracy against him, just when you thought things could get any stranger than they already were getting. What do you mean by that? Those things that you use to move from one floor to another. Apparently they are attempting to cause him harm. It is possible that the trauma he experienced when he attempted to board Air Force One with toilet paper stuck to his shoe is still causing him discomfort. On the other hand, it's possible that there are no more reasons to be upset. The epic battle between Trump and doorknobs is the next topic on the agenda. Jimmy Kimmel, poor Jimmy, was presented with the challenge of making sense of the tweet storm as it continued. On top of that, he had a wonderful time. According to Kimmel, Trump's phone was asking for hazard pay and therapy session. She said this: "You are to blame, right? There should never be a situation in which an innocent smartphone comes into contact with that dreadful device. It is most likely pleading for a new beginning and a new owner, preferably one who is able to recognize the spelling of cuff." Nevertheless, Kimmel had not yet completed his work. Oh my goodness, he brought out the big guns. Or perhaps a more accurate description would be the big bottle. Just for a moment, picture a massive baby bottle that is labeled Trump Tears. In a manner that is reminiscent of Trump's presidency, it is humorous and a little frightening. It is highly likely that the spiciness of Kimmel's roast of Trump was sufficient to eliminate a cold, or at the very least make you laugh so hard that you let it go for a while and forget about it. Jimmy Kimmel's parody of Donald Trump's Twitter outburst was not only hilarious, but it was also a brilliant example of political humor. The late-night host turned Trump's meltdown into pure comedy gold, demonstrating that sometimes laughing at political absurdity is the best way to cope with stress. Trump's meltdown was transformed into comedy gold by the host. Was the move that Kimmel made brilliant? For the purpose of demonstrating how immature the actions of the former president are, props such as a large baby bottle with the words Trump Tears written on it were implemented. One of the most unfortunate aspects is that this goes beyond merely making people laugh. The style of political satire that Kimmel employs actually has an effect on public opinion because it simplifies complex political topics in a manner that is both entertaining and easy to comprehend. You are communicating vital information in a manner that is comparable to sneaking vegetables into a child's food tray. Always keep this in mind the next time you find yourself laughing at a joke about Trump that is told late at night. You are participating in democracy, not just being amused. One might not have anticipated that the act of rescuing the republic could be so hilarious.